Hey guys, AMR here, and today I'm going to be going over this video of me painting my coat of arms. This was a recent English project that I had, and we were asked to make a coat of arms that represented ourselves and to either make a video presenting it and explaining all the parts of it, or a short paper explaining what each thing meant. I decided I'd do a video explaining it while you guys watch me paint it. The video is sped up, so it's gonna be faster than how long it actually took. So to start off, I pre-sketched on a canvas. The sketch that I made was based on a sketch that I'd done in a sketchbook prior to painting, just so that I had a rough draft layout of what I wanted to do. I started with the base layer, the background color, as you can see. This color was a mix of blues and greens to create a kind of turquoise teal color. The color is personally one of my favorites, and it really grabs me. It's all over my room, and I'm not sure why. It just really has personal connection to me. As you can see, it took quite a while to actually get the canvas covered, to get it completely painted. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit so that you guys can see. It took quite a while to get the background done, which is one of the reasons why I sped up the recording. After I finished the background, I went in and did my koi fish. We were required to have at least one animal, a image to represent a hobby, and then two things that we personally liked. For my animal, I did a koi fish. The fish has very deep personal meaning to me. A friend of mine actually nicknamed me Koi Fish because a while back I got a huge obsession with drawing it in every art style I could think of. And I pretty much just did it because I didn't really have anything else that I wanted to do. It was just the one that I liked. So I did a dark blue background for the fish, because it's swimming in water. And then the koi itself is white with some orange and black spots on it. And of course, I had to go in and do the eyes, which didn't look too great. Once I finished that up, my next piece was, I believe, was the Plague Doctor. This was one of the free choices that I got to pick. The Plague Doctor is one of my favorite things to draw nowadays. I actually recently did a large painting of a Plague Doctor, which is by far my best work yet. It's a very interesting thing for me. I've always had a interest in the time period, and I definitely have a huge interest in the herbs that were very commonly used in that time. And I had to switch to a new video. So in the time period that plague doctors were around, they would put herbs in their masks to help purify the air that they breathed. I just thought it was a really cool thing, and it really got me interested in both herbs and the complicated way that medicine worked back then before they actually knew a lot of stuff about medicine. The background for that, I did a kind of emerald green. Part of that was just, it's one of my favorite colors along with the teal. So I thought I should add it in. Next, I did an art palette. So as you can see, art is a very, very close hobby for me. I do it all the time, and I try to incorporate it into my everyday life. So for this panel, I did a paint palette, which you can see I actually use paint palettes all the time. So all I did was do a milky white background mixed with some gray, just to add a little bit of color there. I made the palette itself white, and I put some extra little colors on it just to, show it's got paint on it. The next thing that I did was my fourth panel. For this panel, also one of the choice panels that I got to pick what I wanted to do, I decided to go with 2021 in Roman numerals. I'm a senior in high school this year, and I'll graduate this year. Because of this, I decided to go with 2021 to show my class. On the sides of the coat of arms, we were asked to do our initials. My initials are AM. So I decided to do two different things for the A and the M. Both I decided to go with a box decorative letter design. For the A, I did a koi pond. As you can see, I started with a base layer of gray, kind of differing in color and tone to give it the illusion of a rocky bottom. Over top of that, you can see the outlines of koi fish and lily pads, which overlap and go underneath of the A, which is the centerpiece of the square. It was actually pretty fun to do this because I've never done a full koi pond before. I've done single koi fish in koi ponds, but never a multiple koi fish at once. Of course, I had to mix a lot of paint to get the right colors for this, so it took a little longer than I'd expected, but I still think it turned out really good. I went in on all the koi fish and just put a thick layer of white paint so that other colors would easily blend and stick to it. After I did that, I went in with orange, which is a very common color in koi fish, to put in some little patterns. Two of the koi fish you can see overlap the A, and I thought that was a cool detail to have one swimming underneath and two going over top of it. It really added depth, in my opinion, and it was something that I'd noticed in other pictures where the pieces would overlap. Next I went in and I did the letter A in a black paint, just a solid letter, and then I went in with that same black to make an outline for the A. And I'll skip a little bit ahead. The next one that I had to do was the M. I went with a dark gray background, very simple dark gray background. And here you can see I was explaining to my mom who had stepped in. Over top of the M, you can see I did a laurel wreath, which goes under the M at the bottom and over top at the top of the M. The details for this took a while, so I'll just skip ahead a bit so you can see the finished product. So I went on about halfway through the laurel wreath, I went over with a white paint to kind of give myself a bit of a solid piece that I was working with so that I could more clearly see the lines. And then I finished up with a nice yellow green, which I think that was one of the best things that I've ever done, one of the more realistic pieces. Next I outlined the M with a simple white border, similar to the way I did the A, with the letter and the border matching. The next thing that I did was the sword that's sticking out at the top of the coat of arms. So for me, the sword represents the hardships and battles that I've had to face in my many or few years of living. I thought a chivalrous weapon like this represents bravery and fighting for things that you care about. A lot of times you see knights depicted wielding it as they protect the king of their land or even their loved ones. For a little extra touch, I added 2 emeralds to the part of the sword that you see that's in gold. Emerald is my birthstone. My birthday is in May. So I thought that was a cute little touch. Next, with the yellow paint over the 2021 dry, I went in with purple to do the lettering. Gold and purple are the school colors at my school, so I thought doing the year I graduate in school colors would be a little nice touch. The next thing that I had to do was the little border between the panels. I went with a simple silver paint since that would come into play a little later. After I got that done, I went in and I did my astrology sign. Because I was born in May, my astrological sign is Taurus. So I did the symbol for the Taurus constellation. And then I actually drew in the Taurus constellation, which is one of my favorite parts of the whole painting. After I got the constellation done, I went over the Taurus symbol again just to kind of darken it up so it was easier to see. After that, I started painting in the banner, which my coat of arms motto is going to be written. I'll explain that when I go in to write it. First, I had to lay down a solid color and let that dry, because trying to do wet paint on top of wet paint is not always going to end well. I then raised my canvas up so that I could reach the bottom easily to add in 2 more little details. I decided to put mushrooms on one side and valley, lily of the valley flowers on the other. So I personally really like mushrooms. I think they're really cute. They're easy for me to draw, and they're one of my go-to little doodles when I'm bored or just need to do something like that. After that, I did the lily of the valley flower, which is the May birth flower. It's not a really common known fact that months have birth flowers, but hey, they do. And lily of the valley just happens to be May. So that is pretty much it, other than my motto. My motto is Carpe Diem, which is Latin for seize the day. It's from a movie called Dead Poets Society. It's one of my favorite movies, and it's a quote that's seen throughout the movie to inspire the main characters. I thought it was a really nice touch considering how much the movie meant to me and the impact that it had on my life after watching it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me create this masterpiece, and I hope that you'll give me some feedback in the comments below. If you liked it, please like the video. If you want to see more, subscribe and click that notification bell so that you never miss any of my videos. Anyway, that's my coat of arms. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.